Hey everybody, it's Natalie Barnes here from Beyond the Reef Patterns. Welcome back to Stitch. You've landed on part 3 of a 3-part series on color. Part 1 we went through the color wheel. Part 2 we talked about a lot of different color schemes. And today we're going to take a look at a lot of different series of fabrics from Windham Fabrics and take a look at how we can use the knowledge about color that we've already started. The other great thing about the Part 3 series is that it's the giveaway series. You need to do only 3 things. Number 1, make sure that you subscribe to Windham Fabrics YouTube channel so that you don't miss another episode of Stitch. Number 2, go to Instagram and make sure that you like Beyond the Reef Patterns. And number 3, Windham Fabrics. That's all you have to do. It's as simple as that. Let's start with a line of fabrics that was designed for Windham Fabrics by Dylan M. It is called Maisie's Wonderland. Now, first thing I want you to do when you take a look at a beautiful collection like this is to see if you can't make your own color wheel out of this. So as an example, we've got yellow here, we've got blue here, and we've got a red, right? So we're on our way to a color wheel right now. We can put a green in here. We can put an orange in here. And while we don't really have a purple, I'm going to call this gray that she used, or this charcoal that she used, our purple. So you can see already we have our primary and secondary colors. And that's about it for this line. You'll see that there are some value changes in here. You've got some lovely lighter prints, and then you've got some darker gold prints for this. You've got some darker greens and even some lighter greens. And the same thing with the blues. You'll find that there are a lot of changes in value allowing you to make a great quilt. What you also will end up with are some serious and true lights and a couple of more really dark darks. So you're going to be able to work with this line of fabrics, Maisie's Wonderland, not only in the color wheel, in your primary and secondary colors, but with all the different values and the different hues of each color within that primary and secondary color wheel. Let's take a look at another line of fabrics. This is Sugar Plum, and this was designed by Heather Ross. I know it's really hard for all of you to cut into your Heather Ross fabrics because of her beautiful illustrations, but let's take a look at this and see if we can't sort these out a little bit here. You've got some clear lights and darks, and I think we're going to rely on value a little bit more and color a little bit less. So we're going to take a look at this. There's some nice polka dots here, and they're really light. I almost think that these might make a really good background for a strong graphic quilt. There's some nice little plaids here, and when I look at these plaids, I almost think, gosh, this would make a fabulous binding, right? If you did it on the bias, you'd have a nice little candy cane stripe on this. And that's exactly what we did. We took the Beyond the Reef pattern Mary and Maud. We used one of these for the backgrounds, and we made a nice little holiday throw out of this. As you can see, we relied heavily on the value contrast, and we just let everything else go scrappy. Let's take a look at another Heather Ross line of fabric for Windham. This line of fabric is called Trixie. And interestingly enough, beautiful, of course, but a lot of darks and not so many lights. There were some interesting pieces in the line, like this cheater cloth here. And then there was this adorable little mouse print, which was really the most lightest of lights in the whole line. And I think when I pull this out, you'll see there were some lights, but mostly mediums and darks. All of the colors, of course, were coordinated between all of the different fabrics in this line. But you can see mostly medium and dark. There was a cute little gingham check in here. There is a cute little gingham check in here. I shouldn't speak of this in past tense. I think this is just in fabric shops now. But what you'll notice is that there are 2 really dark darks when you look at this that really stand out. And those are these 2 right here. And really the lightest of lights is this right here. And even though it's one of the feature fabrics, I used it as a background in a quilt that was designed by Beyond the Reef Patterns called Square Dance. Let me show you what we did. I know I always say we, because you know we all get there together. It takes a lot. This was quilted by Teresa Silva of Quilting is My Bliss. Can you see that pattern in there? We used that cheater cloth for the border and then went with contrast with our darks here and our lights, and the rest of it just went scrappy. So sometimes you have to really look in a line and decide what's going to create that contrast, what's going to allow me to make that pattern really sing. There was another line of fabrics that was done by Heather Givens. You might know her of Crimson Tate, and she did a line of fabrics called Night Hike. I know I'm talking and I'm moving, which is probably distracting, but I want to show you Night Hike because this was another interesting line of fabrics. Love Heather's designs. This had a good amount of darks and lights. They were all in these blue colorways here, or I should say they are all in these blue colorways. And greens, gorgeous line here. Fireflies, so adorable. This beautiful constellation. And you can see there's a lot of dark here, and then there's a lot of light. So very balanced line in terms of the difference in value, but not a lot of difference in color. This was not going to be a line of fabrics that we were going to be able to build a color wheel with like we did with Dylan M. But there was one fabric that really stood out to me. And you've heard me talk in the past about using an organizing fabric. That's exactly what we did here. We took this one fabric that was really a pop of color, and we made a series of stars, and that pattern is called Starry. Gosh, it's my pattern too, you would think. It's called Starry Sky. I don't know if you can see that there. That is actually out on loan, so I can't show it to you, but I can show you what we did. We used those clear lights and darks in almost this monochromatic or analogous color scheme, right, of this line of fabrics for Heather. And then we used this as our organizing fabric. So every single one of the stars that we did, we went back to this one color in this one location on every single block. I hope that you've enjoyed this series on color. Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3, although I'm sure you're going to like the giveaway the most. Remember to do those 3 steps to be eligible to win one of these bundles here. They're going to be selected randomly, and I'll be sending them out within 1 week. All of the details about the giveaway are going to be at Beyond the Reef Patterns Instagram page, followed up by Windham Fabrics Instagram page. You'll find the written details in the description below, as well as all the information about all of these great Windham designers. Thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I think the next series we're going to do might be on contrast, since we've been talking a lot about value. From my home to yours, have a great day.